and welcome to Infertility Unfiltered, where fertility experts and warriors are joining forces to provide you with tips, tricks, inspiration, and all of the things so that you can take back control of your life and get your baby on board. Hi, I'm Jennifer Robertson, and today we are joined by Lucy Townsley. Now, Lucy is an acupuncturist. She's a fertility coach who specializes in infertility and women's health. Her passion for fertility was all inspired by her sister's fertility journey and also her first client as well. And today we're going to be talking about something really, really helpful. I can't wait to learn about it. It's called Universal Process Technique, and it's a mindset technique to release yourself from the internal mindset struggles, which is huge in infertility. So I can't wait for Lucy to share that with you. And if you stick around to the end, she's going to tell you how you can get your hands on her free fertility quiz to ascertain the areas you need to focus on. So thank you so much for joining us, Lucy Townsley.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Now, before we dive into the Universal Process Technique, which I'm dying to hear about, do you just want to tell us just what led you down this path? I always ask my guests this because it's so interesting to see what leads people down to something so specific as fertility.
Okay, well, when I first found out about acupuncture, it was after I had a fall riding in a race in the north of Ireland. I broke my back, and the doctor in the hospital was a doctor as well as an acupuncturist, and he asked if he could treat me. So I was willing to do anything to help me get better. And I started asking him questions about Chinese medicine, and it really kind of got me interested. So when I left hospital, I started doing some research to find out how I could train in this area, which I did. So it was amazing. It was really powerful. And then when I first qualified, one of my first patients was a fertility patient, and I was quite honest with her, and I said, this is one of my first patients, and we will just see how we get on. She was all really excited, and so was I. So I was very lucky that within 3 months, she was lucky that she got pregnant. But as well as that, my sister had been told when she was 16 that she could never have children. And when she met her husband, he was told the same thing, that he could never have children. She was told this because of her back. She had various different degenerative discs and issues going on with her back, and she was told that at 16, which she didn't really take on board because you're so young. It's not really something to think about, having children. But then when she met her husband, it sort of suited the two of them, that she couldn't and he couldn't, and they were planning a big life together. But so they weren't particularly careful, and at 23, she got pregnant with Josh. While she was pregnant with Josh, when she'd had Josh, he was just born. She found a lump under her collarbone. Didn't really think anything of it. Went to the doctors, who sent her for tests, and she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a form of cancer, and she had to go for chemo. But in the meantime, because she was so young, she was given the option of freezing her eggs, but she chose actually not to. But I was doing this, and I knew that I could also give her my eggs if it came to that. You can do that through siblings in the UK, I think. We didn't really look into it very much, but that's what we talked about, or I'd carry the baby for her with different ways that we could, if she wanted more children. But she kind of felt that she had Josh, and she was happy with this. But after the chemo, then everything stopped, and she was in remission. Her periods had stopped. So she wanted them to get going again, not really thinking about kids at this stage, had it in the back of her head. But she continued on then with the treatment. When she finished the treatment and her periods came back, and she actually did get pregnant very quickly, within about 4 months. Again, they weren't particularly trying hard. You weren't trying for a baby, and they weren't being cautious either. But unfortunately, that pregnancy ended up in a miscarriage. And I have to say, when that happened, she was really, really devastated. took her a while to get over it, but she did, and she got pregnant again. I was helping her all the time with the acupuncture through this whole process, and she got pregnant again, and she rang me from the hospital like they couldn't believe it. There wasn't one baby in there, there was twins. So she had her and Freddie on the 27th of August. They're going to be 15 this year. So they're like little miracle babies. It's gorgeous. It was such an amazing thing to happen, because after going through the cancer treatment, it was pretty tough, I have to say, very tough treatment. And throughout it, she developed meningitis, and we were told that she wouldn't survive. So the fact that she survived and had, went on to have the twins is amazing. So she's like good and healthy now, and yeah, it's great. Yeah,
and
it's really
hence
good.
that started your passion for acupuncture and fertility.
Yeah, it really
and
did.
Fertility coaching, all of that. Okay, now let's talk
to help
about
everyone.
this. Yes, let's talk about this technique, because it's so important, I think. One of the toughest things on my fertility journey was the mindset. So the anxiety, the thoughts, everything that's going on in your head. So you have this, it's called the universal process technique that you use on your clients. So can you tell us a little bit about it and what it involves?
So we'll use anxiety as the example. Okay, so a lot of women who are trying, for children, so it's not something that you ever expect to happen to you when you're trying, so for your beginning early years, the whole time is about not getting pregnant, and even if your period is like a day, you think it's due this day and it's a day, you're kind of a little bit out of sync with when it's due. Like you're panicking, you might even do a pregnancy test, and then you're like, thank God I'm not. Whereas now, we're retraining our brain to think differently, because you've been training it so much for the last 10, 15, 20 years maybe. So this process helps to clear the negative energy that comes with anxiety, or comes with the feeling of unworthiness, that your body isn't good enough, that you're not good enough, that you've let yourself down, letting your family down, letting your husband down. It's such a big burden to carry. So with this, we pick two antagonistic polarities. So say the feeling of anxiety and the feeling of not being anxious. So we'd pick those two, and I would ask you to go through like the negative side of it first. So we go through feeling anxiety, feeling it fully, like really dramatizing, imagining that it is as real as you can. And you can feel this in many different ways. So anxiety can make you feel like very hunched over in your chest, shallow breathing, maybe knots in your stomach. It can, you can say things out loud in your head. It can make you see a color like gray or black. Anything that comes up is the correct thing. And what I will ask you to do is just say what you feel out into space. So anxiety can make you feel useless or unworthy, or not good at things. So whatever comes up is the correct thing. So then we'll move into the positive side. So the feeling of not anxiety, not feeling anxious, how you'd like to feel, maybe how you felt in the past before trying for a baby. Again, you're going to feel feel not anxious, feeling it fully, magnifying it and making it as real as you can. And then when you do this, again, say into the space how you feel. So whether it's a body sensation, a word that comes into your head, a feeling, anything is the right thing to do.
So I feel calm, I'm at peace, I feel free, exactly. I'm lighter. Yep.
Any of those things is the right thing to say. So then I will ask you, so we do this over 3 rounds, then I will ask you to join them together. So we'll bring anxiety and the feeling of non-anxiety together, and take a deep breath in and exhale. And then I'll ask you what's going on between them. Again, obviously we can't see or hear what you're saying, but just say it out loud. Sometimes you mightn't feel anything between them. Sometimes you might feel the anxiety is a bigger, more powerful than not being anxious. And that's okay, because what we're doing is we're blending them together. We're making it acceptable, and that it's okay to, so you'll start to feel them coming together. We'll do this 3 times. We'll go through the whole process again, and as you go through it, you'll feel a little bit at ease. Maybe not so much stuff will come up. Sometimes when I've done this myself, you can feel tearful as you say the words, and it can be hard to go back into the anxiety phase because it can be a little bit painful, but that's okay. You just say what comes up really, and then we move to the positive side again. So
And
that's
so
how
it's
it
like
works.
you're introducing this 2 sides to each other to meet, rather than
Yeah.
going, because I think it's really hard when people, like, affirmations and things like that are absolutely fantastic, and there's definitely a place for them. But when you're going from a really negative comment into a completely positive comment, like, it can really be fake, and you're not even believing yourself with the affirmation. So is this like the idea is to bring us to a gradual process where we blend them together, and then eventually the more positive feeling wins over after a while, rather than just going straight into the I feel great and peaceful and everything like that when you don't?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly a very good description. So it'll bring them, it's like 2 magnets. So they're bringing them together as opposed to separating them. So it's kind of, see, anxiety is a healthy emotion to have, and not being anxious is a healthy emotion to have. But if you have too much of one or the other, then it becomes not healthy. So it's blending them together so that you have a, like, so it brings a unity in your consciousness. So you feel at peace. You'll feel calmer. You feel that they won't be fighting anymore. Sometimes you can really feel a big shift in your whole body, like you can feel it. But it's picking, so we've picked anxiety and the feeling of not being anxious together, but it could be a different polarity that you pick. You could pick worthy, unworthy. You could pick, I had one the other day which was growth and not growing. You could pick pain and not pain. Whatever comes up for you is the correct one to pick. We're just doing we're picking these two just to get it rolling, and you'll understand it. So when we're doing this process, I need you to be fully present and give me a true willingness to commit to carrying it right through to the end. It really is very powerful. It has
Yeah.
such a
And I
shift on your
imagine it would
conscious.
be and I imagine it would be quite tough as well, because you're digging into these feelings, and a lot of the time on this journey we're just pushing it down and pushing it down, and
Yes.
it's really hard to get our feelings out, and to communicate them and verbalize them and see them, and and actually process them outside of what's going on in our head. And I think even just the process of that, of actually just looking at them and examining them, is really powerful as well.
It is, absolutely. So when we go through the process, if you don't mind, if you say what comes up for you, so we'll deal with anxiety and the feeling of not being anxious. So whatever word comes out with you, just say it out loud yourself, and that will, or if it's a feeling, or if you feel like a tightness in your chest, shallow breathing. Often with anxiety, you kind of close in on yourself, whereas when you're not anxious, you stand tall, you feel strong, you feel powerful. There's no limitation. So anything that comes up for you, just say it out loud, and it's perfect. It'll be perfect and absolutely really, really wonderful.
I love
So
that. That
are you
is
ready to do this?
amazing. Yes. So we're going to do this on me, are we? Whew. Okay, I've got
Yes.
a really good example. So I am feeling a little bit, so we're in the process of moving house at the moment. And so we've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm, writing a book that's about to come out in the next month as well. So I'm like, how am I going to balance moving house, book, business, children, and all of that? Okay, right. So this is, yes.
So how is that making you feel?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what would be the opposite feeling of overwhelmed for you?
Calm.
Perfect. Okay, we'll work with those 2 for you. So again, if anyone's listening, when they're listening to this call, pick the polarities that are suiting your situation at the moment. So they change all the time. I did yesterday, for me, was a feeling of worthy and unworthy. So that's what I worked on yesterday. So we'll work on this. So I just want you to relax, sit back, and take a deep breath in and exhale. Okay. So you're going to feel the feeling of overwhelm. You're going to feel it fully, magnify it, make it as real as you can. And when you're ready, you tell me something about it.
Thinking about all of the things that I have to get done, all of the things that are going on in my mind. It's really busy. And I'm feeling like tense in my shoulders.
Thank you. So we're going to move to the feeling of calmness.
Mm-hmm.
Going to feel it fully, magnify it, make it as real as you can. And when you're ready, you tell me what you're feeling.
I'm feeling trust that things will just get done. I'm feeling calm. I'm feeling in control. I'm feeling relaxed.
Lovely, thank you. I'm going to go back to the feeling of overwhelm.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it fully, magnify it, make it as real as you can. And when you're ready, tell me something about it. Whatever comes up, a feeling in your body, a word, a color, if it's shallow breathing, anything that comes
I
up.
feel my heart beating a little bit faster. I can feel my shoulders rising.
Thank you. We're going to go into the feeling of calm, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. And when you're ready, you tell me something about it.
I'm feeling lighter.
Beautiful. Thank you. Go back to the other side, feeling of the overwhelm, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. And when you're ready, you tell me something about it.
I'm feeling a little bit upset, like a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit like I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go to the feeling of feeling calm now, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. And when you're ready, tell me something about it.
I'm feeling quiet, like in my mind, still.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you. So now I want you to feel the feeling of overwhelm and calm at the same time. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And tell me what's happening between the two of them.
Oh, I've just felt really warm.
Good. We're going to do another round of this because we need to do a little bit more blending with the two polarities. So we're going to feel the feeling of overwhelm again.
Mm-hmm.
Going to feel it fully, magnify it, make it as real as you can. Really put yourself in that overwhelm and tell me what's happening.
I feel hot, like I feel like I'm sweating.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go back to the feeling of calmness, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. Really put yourself in that calm feeling. When you're ready, tell me something about it.
Feel relaxed.
Beautiful. Thank you. Again, we're going to go back to the feeling of overwhelm, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. Really put yourself in that overwhelm and tell me what's happening.
It's not as hard. It's not as easy to go into it. Like I feel like I'm forcing it now.
It's okay.
I feel like I'm forcing going into the overwhelm.
That's good. You're blending quicker.
I feel more calm than anything else now. And I think it's because I've been breathing as I've been going into the calm and just.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's
so
clearing.
It doesn't feel as present anymore.
That's a good thing. So we're going to go to the feeling of calmness, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. And when you're ready, tell me something about it.
It's almost like this meditative state, like this space.
Beautiful. Thank you. We're still going to go into the feeling of overwhelm. We're going to keep this going because sometimes there may still be things there that need to be cleared that just are a little bit deeper. They mightn't be there very much. You might repeat what you've said. It might be a body sensation again. So I really want you to feel that overwhelm, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. And when you're ready, you tell me something about it.
It's warm again. My palms are feeling a bit sweaty.
Okay, good, thank you. So we're going to go to the feeling of calmness, feeling it fully, magnifying it, making it as real as you can. And when you're ready, you tell me something about it.
It's just quiet.
Beautiful. So now I want you to feel the feeling of overwhelm and calm at the same time. Really take a deep breath in and exhale. And tell me what's happening between the two of them.
It's more peaceful, I think.
It's really good.
And so is that the premise of it? So it just keep on going back and forth. And is the idea to tease out the overwhelm and kind of get it out and then keep on blending them together? Okay. And so you use that on your clients. Like what's the most common
so we continue going. So with the peacefulness, we would do another round, but you've blended very quickly. So we would then go on to, so I would like you just to close your eyes right now and just feel that peacefulness and just really imagine that feeling of yourself is spreading like a wave in front of you. And really imagine that feeling of peacefulness is spreading like a wave behind you. And keep imagining that peacefulness is spreading to the left of you into infinity. And imagine that peacefulness is spreading to the right of you into infinity. Imagine that feeling of peacefulness is spreading high above you, right up into heaven. And feel that peacefulness spreading like a wave down below into the depths. And feel the peacefulness is spreading in all directions simultaneously. To your front and back, to your left and right, above and below you. And feel the peacefulness cascade all around you in all directions. In front of you, behind you, above and below, and to your left and right. So how are you feeling now? How do you feel?
I feel like I could have a nap now.
Yeah, it's very peaceful. Yeah. Now there's more important questions that I have to ask you, which is, they're grounding questions. They're questions that really will help keep that feeling. So the first one is, are you able to manifest the feeling of overwhelm and calmness separately now? So they're not fighting anymore.
I would think that like as in separately. Like compartmentalizing them, like so that they're not at war.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's really good. And what are you more conscious of now?
I'm more conscious of the calm and the peace now because I've had the visualization of it above and below and left and right. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's the one thing that you can take from this that you'll be able to use in today and in the future?
I think it's just the stopping and the breathing.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Mm.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So you blended very quickly. We only did 2 rounds and it came together very quickly, but it would take probably 3 rounds and sometimes 4 rounds for it to, there'd be a lot more stuff can come up, but
Absolutely.
it is very powerful, incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. That's great, Lucy. So how can people get in contact with you after this, and how can you've got a freebie as well, which is a quiz so
Hmm.
that they can ascertain where they need to do some work on their fertility journey. So how do they get in contact with you? How do they get their hands on that freebie?
So through my website, lucytownsley.com, and there'll be I'm doing podcasts as well. That's my next project, is to do podcasts on everything from your fertility journey to mindset, every aspect that I can help you with. Foods, foods and nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, so limiting beliefs, everything. And it'll all be available on my website. So there's the fertility quiz that will let you go through everything, and I give you loads of advice of tips and things where you can improve the different areas that need tweaking. Sometimes I think when you're trying for a baby, you've tried every single thing that you can possibly do, but sometimes a fresh pair of eyes on it just gives you a new look. You might be something very simple that you just need to do, and that's the answer.
Yeah.
And that's so I'm going to have all so much information there on the website, everything. And if you have any
Excellent.
questions, you can mail me and I can help any
I
way I can.
love it. Love it. Can't wait to
Yeah.
check it out. Congratulations on
Thank you.
everything. Well done on everything that you're doing. Thank you for sharing that with me. I feel beautiful and amazing now. So other people can do exactly the same thing, or they can reach out to you. So thank you so much for joining us, Lucy Townsley.
Thank you. Best of luck,
Excellent.
everyone.
And if you enjoyed this video, this session as much as I did, hopefully you carried on as well, then please feel free to give it a little love, like it, share it, and make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, because this is just one of many amazing interviews with awesome people as part of the Infertility Unfiltered series. So thank you so much for watching.